देखूं जिधर भी कोई ना कोई।
ये है कतर का नंबर वन हिंदी रेडियो स्टेशन रेडियो ऑलिव 106.3 एफएम। एंड इस बार जो आर्टिस्ट हैं वो है तो पुणे से, लेकिन हम उन्हें खींच के लाए हैं यूएस से, बिकॉज करंटली ही इज इन यूएस एंड टाइम जोन मैनेज करके वी हैव गॉट हिम हियर इन ऑफ माय प्लेलिस्ट। सो दिस वीक्स आर्टिस्ट इज सिंगर सॉन्ग एंड प्रोड्यूसर जिनका नाम है असीम। हाय असीम, वेलकम।
Hi Vivek, how's it going? Thanks for having me.
चलिए आपके बारे में जानते थोड़ा सा। आप पुणे से हैं, आप साउंड इंजीनियरिंग भी करते हैं, आप प्रोड्यूसर भी है, सिंगर सॉन्ग भी है। तो जस्ट टॉक अस थ्रू द होल जर्नी ऑफ योरसेल्फ इन म्यूजिक। आपने कहाँ से शुरुआत की एंड हाउ इज इट गोइंग टिल नाउ?
Music for me has been a part of the family right from when I was a kid. I've had singers, sound engineers, actors
वाह।
in my like immediate family. When I was in school, I used to play the tabla for almost like 13 odd years. I also sang a little bit, but it was all in that whole hey, like I'm not very sure what I'm trying to do here, but everybody around's like, encouraging you. You're winning singing competitions in school. So, that's like a good impetus to realize that, yeah, something might be clicking. But the real change that came through was after I finished my 12th standard, like all my friends, batchmates who were trying to figure out what their next step in life was. I was doing the same as everybody else. Like, I was going to classes, I was trying to go for tuitions so that I could clear my entrance exams because engineering was like the first plan in mind. So I randomly applied to this audio engineering school in London in
Okay.
2010. And I found myself a seat right there. So I was like, okay, now this seems like something's really, really happening. So I took up the course. I moved to London, and our college was like a live and studio sound engineering college.
Okay.
So which also taught us a little bit of post production while we were on the course. So I finished all these three courses, did some internships with some good bands, traveled as like a shadowing engineer with a few. Right after that, I moved back to India in 2000, end of 2012. And Coke Studio season 3 was like my first gig that I got to work on as a sound engineer. And soon after that, I started traveling as a front of house engineer with Monali Thakur, with Sri
Wow.
Ram Chandra. I got to work with Mithun Sharma, Amit Mishra, Siddharth Mahadevan. And then finally in 2017 is when Shalmali's manager got in touch with me. Right after this, I started traveling full time with her. For the
Okay.
next 3 years, I would be doing that. So I was doing my independent music. I'd released two singles, and then in August 2019, I came back to Boston for 2 weeks to produce this EP of 4 songs, which is called Ilaj EP. In January 2020, when we were in NIT, in I think it was NIT Calicut, we
Okay.
were playing a show with Shalmali there, and I'm at the front of house console, just trying to set up everything. Shalmali comes in for the sound check, and at one point, she just randomly comes to the console, says hi to me, and she's like, Aseem, I've been thinking, would you like to sing with me on the show? And that was out of nowhere. She had a fair idea that I was doing this. She'd heard my music. She really loved my voice. And I was like, yeah, why not? So that happened, bro. And like I did that for almost like 3 months. I was on
Wow.
every show I was singing with her until the pandemic hit. And then in those months of the pandemic, I decided, you know what? Let's do this. So I just like, randomly dropped this EP. And some of the songs got picked up by Spotify, some got picked up by Apple Music, and I suddenly see like a huge rise in the number of people who are like now
Listening.
reaching out to me
Hmm.
saying, you should do this, you should do this. And then as I started doing more and more, more and more, one random day again, it was Shalmali. She's been the biggest trigger to all of these things happening, and I can never thank her enough for making me believe in myself so much, right? So she calls me and she's like, I'm doing my first Marathi film as a music director. And there's this song on it, and I feel your voice fits really well on it. Would you
Wow.
want to give it a shot?
Wow.
So that happened, and I sang the first song for a Marathi film that got released last year. It's called June. The song's called Parageli. And then came the next album, which is what I am releasing right now, which is called Pehchan.
That's great. This week's offer playlist track is one of your latest releases. It's called Dekhoon, Jidhar bhi. I was just seeing the video which got released 10 days back,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
the song has been written perfectly. It's very cool bhi hai aur pyara bhi hai, and the video is also very fun because you have recorded yourself while
Correct.
singing the whole song. Just take us through the song Ye Gana Kaise Bana, and how was the whole writing process, and how did the song come in place, and what was the thought behind the song?
My process of songwriting has always been melody first. Since I have been a technical person in the industry,
Huh, huh.
I make sure that my melody is sitting on a bed of a really lush production. When these 7, 8 melodies came together, every time I've written a melody, I have a fair bit of an idea what the melody is trying to say. I came through this John Mayer video, and the interviewer was asking him about his process, and I heard something like he said a very simple thing that changed my entire perspective about how I would want to go about my music. He said, like, when you're strumming your guitar and you're just singing a na 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 on top, that na 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 carries no value. Although in my mind, I know what I'm trying to go towards, but if you don't just like be break that barrier and just start murmuring whatever comes to your mind with the melody. So like even if it has no sensibilities yet, the positioning of the words is how you will determine how your structure to the verse or the pre-chorus or the chorus is going to be. So Siddhant Kaushal, who's been a very close friend for
And
like
I've seen
over
that
6, 8 years now,
he has written a lot of your songs as well.
he's written the entire album. Like
Yeah.
this whole album's his as much as it's mine. So I call up Siddhant and I'm like, bro, there are these songs that I'm planning to put out as an album. So when we heard Dekhoon, Jidhar be together, I was thinking that it's going in a very it's like funny love, but something in him and his vision was like, dude, but I think the melody is so sweet that I want to ironically write something really true. So he came up with this concept of how we are around, like what's happening around us right now. And in that transition phase of me moving from being just an engineer to now being an artist, I had
Hmm.
seen a lot of things change around me.
Yeah.
Like the hook line of the song says, देखो जिधर भी कोई ना कोई कुछ पीठ पीछे कह रहा, देखो जिधर भी कोई ना कोई बिन हाल पूछे कह रहा. So ये मेरे साथ बात होती रही है in
Huh.
all this journey so far, but I have been a believer of how much I believe in myself.
Hmm.
So the
Hmm.
song was written in that way to say that ये हो रहा है, but हम कर क्या सकते हैं इसके बाद कि
वाह.
how can we come together to just support people in whichever little way we can.
देखो जिधर भी, अगर आप कुछ लाइंस गा देंगे तो दैट बी ग्रेट.
गिरा या फेंका सब याद है, क्यों यार होते एकाद है, यहाँ दिखावा ही प्यार है, जबान सबकी तपता बुखार है, मजाक मेरी कहानी हुई, वो हर जगह पानी पानी हुई, क्यों मैंने बातें मानी सभी, यहीं पे भूल हो गई, देखूं जिधर भी कोई ना कोई कुछ पीठ पीछे कह रहा, देखूं जिधर भी कोई ना कोई बिन हाल पूछे कह रहा.
क्या बात है.
Yeah,
लव द सॉन्ग एज वेल. बहुत ही अच्छा लग रहा है मेरे को. एंड वीडियो की वजह से, जैसा आई वाज टेलिंग
thank
यू, इट वाज
you.
अ वेरी फन चिल वीडियो दैट यू हैव डन टू इट आल्सो. बट
Correct.
Aseem,
Thank you so much. Yeah,
all the best for your whole album and your music journey, and it's going well and
thank
it's going
you.
in the right direction, and we hope that it just continues the way it is.
Thank you so much for your wishes, man. It was lovely being here and able to sing this live for the first time. This is probably the first time I've sung this live for anyone.
Wow.
So, and being so impromptu, I wasn't ready that this question was coming
Yes,
now.
yes,
So,
yeah. That's a
awesome,
little
awesome. It
surprise
was
that we
fun
keep.
chatting with you.